What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to TTP Sports. And before we get into this Flyers loss in overtime to the Florida Panthers, the most important thing you can do is hit that subscribe button. I will greatly appreciate that. We are very close to the 400 subscriber mark, so definitely if you are a new viewer to the channel, looking for all your latest Philadelphia sports recaps, news, and events, this is the channel to be at. It's either a miserable time or a great time, depending on the outcome. And if you are a current subscriber, longtime viewer of this channel, I am very grateful for you being here. So let's try to grow this thing together, get it over 400 subs, and continue to move on from there. So getting into the business tonight, the Flyers fall a tough game to the Florida Panthers in overtime by a score of 2-1. And there are more positives, in my opinion, to take out of this game. I know a lot of people are most likely going to look at this game very, very negatively because once again, you struggled to score goals in this game against the Florida Panthers. You get outshot 45 to 33. And basically that overtime, after Cam Atkinson wasn't able to beat the post on that breakaway, you had that slight feeling just from the way it was going throughout the game. You were in a back-to-back situation. You played in Tampa Bay last night, had to make the road trip playing, well, even though it's in Florida still, so it's not that long of a road trip still. You know that fatigue is eventually going to settle in a back-to-back. I thought this team showed a lot more energy tonight, especially from what they showed yesterday. I thought the first line stood out. Travis Konechny had a really good game. He was all over the ice tonight, even Claude Giroux as well. And even some of the other lines, I thought Morgan Frost had a pretty decent game, had some chances. Would have had a breakaway in this game if, the offside that was actually not offsides was, waved off. But sadly, it is what it is at this point. But another huge positive in this game, Martin Jones was outstanding. He was one of the major reasons the Flyers even got a point in this game. There were many stages in this game where Florida was flying all around the ice, especially early on in that first period. And then over the course of the game, the second period, like as you can see, this fatigue settling in for the Flyers throughout the course of the second period, throughout the course of the third period. Even though I thought the third period was more back and back, the second period was just one of your typical Flyers struggling second periods where Florida basically dominates the entire thing, even though the Flyers did get their share of chances throughout, really just not as much as you would like in that second period. But I did think this team showed a lot of a different vibe in this game. They fought hard. They were able to get some under some of the Florida players' skins, especially Travis Konechny and Radko Gudas, former Flyer right there. Those guys got it into it a couple of times, and the refs were very, even though I don't want to say it, I'm definitely not blaming the refs at all here, but there were like some questionable calls in this game. Definitely not that first penalty that was called against the Flyers. I would say more on so that very late penalty called against Ivan Provorov in the third period. That was an obvious flop by Sam Bennett, and that is a horrible penalty to call late in the game. He literally just baby tapped him with his stick, and then Sam Bennett goes flying 50 feet across the ice. Like, how is that not called, diving at that point? That is a terrible call by the refs right there. And Cam Atkinson, same thing. He got the chance in overtime. He had a couple of breakaways in this game as well, just wasn't able to cash in. So hopefully he gets some confidence off of those chances and feels like he can finally get back on the score sheet, but sadly you're just not able to. So just going throughout this game, Florida, they're just dominating throughout the first so many minutes of this game, throughout basically the first 6 to 7 minutes. They're getting chances throughout the entire ice. Martin Jones having to come up huge for his team. And then basically on a 2-on-1 chance for Florida, Martin Jones makes a save. The rebound comes right to Travis Konechny, who feeds it perfectly down the ice to Joel Farabee, who gets in on a breakaway, beats Bobrovsky 5-hole, and the Flyers go up 1-0. And the Flyers had a couple of power plays in this game. They get one in the first period. They get one in the second period. So basically, yeah, they weren't able to cash in on the power play, even though the first unit did get a couple of good looks. So hopefully that's something to look forward to as the games go on. But yeah, after the Flyers scored that first goal, Joel Farabee from Konechny and Ivan Provorov, the Flyers actually started buzzing a lot in that first period. Then you eventually got Claude Giroux getting a breakaway that eventually got broken up by a back check by a Florida defenseman, and then the Morgan Frost play that should not have been called offsides because you saw in the replay he was clearly onside, but the ref, blew the whistle, I guess a little prematurely, thought it was offside, so that basically made the entire thing null and void. And then, yeah, the Flyers just continued to get chances as the period went along, but then Florida got their buzz in the late stages of the first period. But still, you go up 1-0. Martin Jones has been huge for you in this first period, so that is a very good sign. So going into the second period, Florida, once again, they get the early jump, but the Flyers, they also do, this is actually in the third period, so I'm jumping ahead a little bit. So the Flyers do get a power play in this second period because, they get Frank Vadrano. He gets called for unsportsmanlike, and this is during the entire stretch where Florida is dominating. Martin Jones with this incredible paddle save. I have no idea how Sam Reinhart was not able to bury this puck. Literally, Martin Jones is lying down in the crease on his stomach, raising his stick up, and it gets the paddle, and it goes over the... not even over the glass. It just goes off I think it went off the boards and around around the crease. It was just a fantastic save there by Martin Jones. I had no idea how that man kept that puck out. And there were a lot of instances where it's just like, how the hell is he keeping these pucks out? Thank God for Martin Jones tonight, but still, Flyers get that power play halfway through the second period. They were not able to score on it. They get a couple of chances, but sadly, nothing goes their way. Travis Konechny, once again, he was flying when he had the chances in this period as well. Got a wraparound chance on Sergei Bobrovsky, and also, a couple of chances in the slot on the power play as well. Just weren't able to go in there. So, Florida, basically, I would say they were the better team in this period. They got a whole lot of chances. Martin Jones came up strong, and you still go into the intermission up 1-0. So basically, you go into the third period. Once again, you win a period, you win a hockey game. But sadly, that is not the case because early on in this period, the Flyers take a penalty. Nick Seeler gets the call for slashing after, a whole shift by Florida where they basically take it to the Flyers, and Martin Jones is forced to make another save once again. And this is during a situation where Sean Couturier actually robbed Florida of a goal because the puck was going in, but Sean Couturier, pushing back into the play, manages to get his stick into the crease to make sure the puck doesn't go in, so he clears it out. But Seeler, on that ensuing play, takes a slashing penalty, and then here comes Ratko Gudas, who just bulldozes Travis Konechny. The broadcast wanted a penalty right there because at first Brian Boucher thought it was a cross-checking, but I guess if you look at it on the replay, it was a clean hit because TK did have the puck, and Gudas went in with the arm. It wasn't a cross-check, so I guess, because at first it did look like a penalty because it didn't look like Konechny had the puck, but it was a clean hit, and Florida goes to the power play, and they waste no time on this as they score. It is Sam Bennett off of a nice cross-feed pass. He is down low and basically backdoor bearing it by Martin Jones. He has no chance on this puck whatsoever, and Florida ties the game up at 1 goal apiece. The Flyers have their share of chances in this period, but also Florida as well. Martin Jones and Sergei Bobrovsky, they come up huge in this period for each team. And then, you get a couple of penalties. You get a 4-on-4 situation for both teams. Couturier, Ekblad, they go into the box for roughing. So you get a little bit of a stretch right there for 4-on-4. Florida gets some chances. Flyers get some chances. You go towards the later stages of the period where that terrible penalty was called against Ivan Provorov. And my honest to God, Provorov did not have a good game whatsoever. I thought he looked just very sluggish. I have no idea what's been wrong with Ivan Provorov lately, but he just does not look like himself at all. But thankfully, the Flyers had a very strong penalty kill on that ensuing power play for Florida, and they managed to, kill off the rest of the period, to kill off the rest of the penalty, and you go into the overtime, you grab a point. And there are many chances in this period for Florida and the Flyers, especially, a couple of face-off plays. Florida gets some chances right off of them. Martin Jones has to make some saves. You get Cam Atkinson going up the other way. You had this entire situation where Travis Konechny was out there for literally a quarter of the overtime, where he just could not get off the ice. That's how much Florida was possessing the puck there. And overtime, especially 3-on-3, it's a possession game, and that's basically Florida forced Travis Konechny to be out on the ice and just was not able to get a change. Cam Atkinson, he eventually does get a breakaway. So he beats Bobrovsky, but he just can't beat the goddamn post. and it goes the other way, and there's a face-off in the offensive zone. Claude Giroux loses it, and Florida controls right there, and Joel Farabee, as he's playing man-to-man, he literally gets his stick whacked out of his hands as it goes flying across the ice, and basically that's all she wrote for Florida, as Aaron Ekblad buries a pass from Jonathan Huberdeau past Martin Jones, and that is the game winner, and Florida wins this game by a score of 2-1. They remain undefeated at home to start the season. They tie a NHL record for most wins at home to start a season. So, 3 stars of the game: Aaron Ekblad, Sergei Bobrovsky, and Martin Jones. Personally, I think Martin Jones should be first star in this game, but hell, what do I know? Shots on goal: 33 and 45 in favor of the Florida Panthers. Flyers won the faceoffs in this game, majority 57%. Flyers go over 2 on the power play, while Florida goes 1 for 2. Very physical game. Flyers led in hits 28-15. Flyers blocked a lot of shots as well, 21-7. Shot totals per period: 16-14 in the first in favor of the Panthers, 10-9 in the second in favor of the Panthers, and 12-10 in favor of Florida in the third period as well. And also, Florida had a ton of chances in that overtime, outshot the Flyers 7-0, because, on that breakaway by Cam Atkinson, hitting the post technically does not count as a shot on goal. So that basically just described how much Florida dominated in that overtime period. I know people are definitely going to look at this game negatively, but I can definitely guarantee you there. I think there was more positives than not to take out of this game. Martin Jones was huge for you once again. You had some players that were electric tonight. I think Travis Konecny really stepped up for this team. I definitely think Morgan Frost, he had some moments in this game where he could have had some chances. I think he looked pretty well. Zach McEwen, once again, he looked very fine on that third line with Scott Laughton and James Van Riemsdyk. And yeah, the defensive pairings, kind of a little sluggish tonight, in my honest opinion. I don't like Sealer paired up with Travis Sanheim. I kind of feel like that just makes Sanheim a little worse there, and especially putting Sealer up in a top forward honestly just isn't the right option, in my honest opinion. I understand because, the pairings beside Ristolainen and Sanheim have been struggling lately, and especially the Provorov and Braun pairing, so I can understand wanting to switch them up a little bit, but I'm not sure if Alain Vigneault is going to keep that lasting going into the next game against Carolina, so we're definitely going to have to wait and see until, what happens on going to Carolina, because the upcoming schedule for this Flyers team, you got Friday at home at 3:30 against the Carolina Hurricanes. You got Sunday on the road, the 28th, against the New Jersey Devils. You got a Tuesday home game against the New York Islanders, and then you got a Wednesday that's a back-to-back between Islanders and then on the road against the New York Rangers. And then looking at the month of December, after that game against the Rangers, you have 3 days off until you have a home back-to-back between the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Colorado Avalanche. You'll play the New Jersey Devils on the 8th, and then you have a back-to-back on the road between Vegas and Arizona. Come back home on the 14th to play the Devils. On the road against Montreal, back at home for 2 games against Ottawa and Washington. Go on the road to face Pittsburgh, and then you have your Christmas break, and then you're back on the road once again for your Western Conference road trip: Seattle, San Jose, Los Angeles, Anaheim, those various teams there. So I think there's things to build off with this game. I know people are going to look at this game very negatively, as Flyers fans have been doing this entire season. Yes, the goal scoring is still a major issue. They just for some reason can't find ways to put the puck in the back of the net consistently, especially over this major stretch. They have been averaging a little over a goal and a half per game, which is not that good. Well, it's not that good. It's terrible at that point. But the offense eventually has to break through. It's ridiculous at this point. They're going through this entire stretch averaging, not over 2 goals a game. Looking at the entire month of November, their only game where they scored above 3 goals was not even they didn't have a game this season. Well, not this season, this month, where they scored above 3 goals in a game. You got the only games this year where they scored 3 goals was the first game of the month against Arizona. They won 3-0, and technically that third goal was an empty netter. So if you want to cancel that out, I don't blame you for there. So technically it's 2 goals there on a goaltender. And then the game against Tampa Bay, 3 goals there. So basically there was only 2 games this month where they scored 3 goals. Every other game, Pittsburgh 2 goals, Washington 2 goals, Toronto shut out, Carolina 2 goals, Dallas 2 goals, Calgary 2 goals, Boston 2 goals, Tampa Bay shut out, and today 1 goal. So the offense has to crack eventually. We were talking about that on the podcast eventually. This offense is due to break out. It's ridiculous at this point, all the offensive talent on this team, and they, for some reason, can't score. I know a lot of people want to call the offensive talent on this team very overrated. I don't agree with you on that standpoint. I'm not saying a lot of these guys on this offense are elite by any means, but they're not overrated. These guys are, known goals, no point producers in this league. Cam Atkinson's a goal scorer in this league. I'm not saying Claude Giroux. Claude Giroux has actually been fantastic. Travis Konechny, he's a guy that scored 24 goals 3 straight seasons. That just doesn't disappear. And hopefully with this game, he can build some confidence. Sean Couturier, one of the best two-way forwards in the league. He needs to be better, but I don't think that's a stretch that's going to last for long. James Van Riemsdyk, yeah, he needs to be better, definitely. We're paying him to score goals, and he only has scored 2 goals this season. So, yeah, there's a major issue there, but don't think this team is as putrid as they've been showcasing. I think there's a lot better in store with this team than they're actually showing, and I still believe that it's with the loss of Kevin Hayes and Ryan Ellis. So hopefully right now, Morgan Frost looked like he had a little jump in his game and especially sparked that second line with Atkinson and Farabee. So, and especially with the game Konechny had tonight, hopefully these guys find some confidence and find ways to put pucks in the back of the net consistently to where you're scoring more goals in a game. So hopefully they can figure that out. So, guys, what are your thoughts on this game? What are your thoughts on Martin Jones' performance? Are you happy with this game? Are you happy with the effort? Or are you still looking at this game very negatively because, you don't think they deserve the point? So I want to hear your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. As always, do not forget to leave those down there. Do not forget to drop a like on this video. Do not forget to check out the Painted Lines, which I'm a part of. Their links are down in the description below. Also, don't forget to check out BrodesMedia, the Flyer.pod merch website, and also Flyers Nitty Gritty. All that stuff is down in the description below. Do not forget to check those out. And like I said at the beginning of the video, the most important thing you can do is hit that sub button. I will greatly appreciate that. I hope everyone here has a very happy Thanksgiving tomorrow, and I will see you next time.